if I showed earlier, I made this pattern. This is for the screw holes, the attaching holes for a piece of stainless trim that goes on here. When I get ready to drill the holes in this new dash panel, I'll lay that piece of trim back on and use the actual piece of trim as the guide for where I drill the holes. But I don't have that piece now. It's off with the polisher being reconditioned. So I made this little pattern. And what it does, it allows me to mark these. Now the only reason I need to mark them, I'm not going to drill them yet, but all it means is that when I punch my plug holes in here to do my plug welds to take place on my spot welds, the panels originally put on with, I don't want to weld exactly where these trim holes are. They make it too hard for me to drill in to reattach the trim piece, and just not what I want to do. So it's just easy to mark those now, and I can punch all my holes in here to plug weld this dash top in place without having interference later attaching the trim part. Let's see here. We took and, like I said, we painted this, we put the foam on the back side of the defroster vents. That helps seal them to the top part of the dash. Shows your clock is in. I'm going to take this part now and I'm going to clean any oil residue off of it. I'm going to rough it up with 80 grit sandpaper on the top. I'm going to turn the back side over. I'm going to wipe it down with thinner so there's no oil on that. I'm going to rough it real quick and I'm going to paint the back side of this. We're going to prime the back side of this panel before we attach it, and we're about ready here. I'll bring you back as we make progress. Alright, we wiped this thing down. The oil's off. It's got a first coat of paint on her. Some Rust-Oleum satin black prime on it. And I don't know if I've ever showed this before. Everyone's seen my big monster fan. Here's a little one. Nice little unit. It's mounted to a piece of plywood. Slide half the window out. Set her in place and plug her in here. Works nice. Got a nice pull to it. Pull the fumes out of here from you, just spray painting or something like that. Works out real nice. Taped over top of the defroster vents. That paper is back out of the way of anywhere I'm going to be welding. There's a divider wall between these two panels, and I'll be welding way out here, so there won't be anything coming back. I better get this phone. Like I was saying, these will be back behind where the heat is, so there shouldn't be any problem with that. We'll have to watch out, of course, about fire. That's always, when you're welding, precaution you have to take. So that should be all the masking I really have to do. I'm going to set this in place and get a clamp down, and then I'll show you what we've got. There's the openings for the defrosters. You can see how they're masked. My light working here. Okay. Radio speakers are down. There's cardboard underneath down there. So there shouldn't be any issue about overspray going through the radio vent. That defroster is masked. You see my plug weld holes out here. It should at least look like the spot welds when we're done. Like I said, this all gets seam sealed over anyway. This kind of gives you an idea right here, factory seam seal, how it looks. Everyone's always nervous about being neat when they apply this stuff. I don't think they care at the factory. You see these big places out here where it looks like they just wiped their application gun off. Anywhere it would run to, and just smeared this stuff on. So we'll probably be a little neater than that when we seam seal all this in after it's welded. Seam seal covers a lot of it up anyway. Fits real nice, looks really good. So I'm probably not going to weld it tonight. It's about 20 to 7 here tonight. I'm going to shut her down. I'll come out in the morning, clamp this thing, get her welded up. Show you what we have then. Alright, we got her all fastened down here. We're going to do the finish on it now. Everything's all tacked in all the way across. Leveled out real nice. Pulled down nice and tight up here in the front. I'll probably put some welds along this seam too. Hold her down because all this gets seam sealed over. Squirt bottle of water out here. Got the air hose. A couple more little water sources over here. That's where we're at, guys. Now I'm going to finish tacking this in. I'll tack them pretty close across there. We'll knock them down with a grinder. pretty much have the dash installed on this one. Alright, there you go. Alright, we're all set up to weld here today. Lincoln 125 is what I use. This is a 120 volt unit. You use argon mix gas on this, carbon dioxide mix. For shielding, as you can see, I've got this clamped down. I've made a few tacks up here already in the corners. A couple of things I use. Old hammer handle. I can use this to push with, push down with. You can see it's been used quite a bit for that. And then this long pick right here. And what I do with this is, like, anywhere you see that these aren't exactly even, you can hook underneath the low side, pick it up, and just hold it while you make your tacks. Come right across, anywhere that's down, put it right in, pick it right up. You can see how that's down, pick it right up like this, make your tacks. Makes life real easy. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to spot this in across here, and we'll bring you back, make some more progress. Alright, here we go. Welded and ground, got the rough ground done on it. Nice and solid now. I did come out to the edge and welded the edge line down. Like I said, that'll get seam sealed over anyway. I just ground the welds down on the top side of the dash panel. Left them down here on the cowl panel. Like I said, a smear of seam sealer will cover all that up. This all gets seam sealed in here. Now we'll have a little finish work right here, just a little bit. The interior A-post part comes down and it covers most of this, and the dash pad comes over, but I'll finish right here a little bit. And that'll be all the actual finish we have to do on the dash pad. Back to one piece now. It's real solid. Everything's real nice. Pull around here and everything's nice and solid. Come out real well. A little more work to it and it will look like it's been there the whole time. Alright, so there you have the dash replacement. Alright, here's the wrap up on the dash installation. These corners are ground down, they're ready for a little bit of filler. I'm really going to put just a little bit of Duraglass across here just because it's a weld, even though it's not an exterior weld. Now here we're ready for seam seal. Got to put a little filler right here, a little Duraglass in here. Then we'll seam seal over top of that for the look. Come out real nice. Same on this corner, but there's some finish work right here. Might be a little bit right here between the dash and the A-pillar interior cover that doesn't get covered up, so we want to make sure that looks nice. That's it on the dash installation.